Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, good morning. Hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho gracias, swabia, balli kare aaya. Hosh galden anayo sayo, khuyamora, chibatto, chihajod, kalimera, khairutan, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you who's tuned into Pakistan TV and are watching world this morning. I happen to be SHAHZAD Khan, and with me I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss EESHA REHAN. For each and every one of you who's out there, we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your Thursday morning with us. But hello Isha, assalamu alaikum. How are you doing today? I didn't say that.
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I feel absolutely great. And you know what? Today, what I had for breakfast was leftover beef dumplings with chili oil, and I'm regretting it right now because my tummy is rumbling. But
Really?
with that,
I think that's the exact reason that So there was something that I was actually talking about with Isha.
Things not to do with
yeah.
the
So
house.
I was like, when you do not leave your house in a very good mood early in the morning. I mean, it kind of takes a toll on you. But
does,
yeah, you really have to put it back and be like, hey, you know what, everything's good, and kind of get to the day.
Yeah.
But yes, for all of those individuals, may that be men, women, children, dada, dadi, nana, nani, anybody and everybody, whoever is waking up early in the morning and they're supposed to go do some chores or some work, they really need to leave in a good mood.
They do, they do.
And the responsibility lies.
Yeah,
and the responsibility lies on all of those people who are still in the bed.
Oh wow! So, I mean, I feel like today's theme is all about reminiscing about how to leave the house in a positive mood, whether it be your breakfast or with the emotions that you leave.
Yeah,
but
because
with
if
that,
you do
we
not,
will transition on to what the show is about today.
I do know, and our producer, ladies and gentlemen, she always is really on top of us. But today, just give us like 30 seconds, because if you do not decide well in time what you need to do, then the time will decide what to do with you. So please make sure that you decide what to do, and that too well in time. But let's get started. Thank you so much, Madam Sana, for all the push that you've given us early this morning. So keeping up with the geopolitical situation and tensions rather, imagine that the United States President Mr. Donald Trump has said that the killings of anti-government protesters in Iran have stopped, signaling a more measured approach to the crisis after threatening to attack Iran in response to the crackdown on demonstrators. Trump told reporters that plans for executions were also halted hours after the U.S. began to withdraw some personnel from an airbase in Qatar amid growing fears of a renewed U.S.-Iran conflict. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said Iran's military is at its peak of defense readiness and will confront any aggression amid rising tensions with the United States. The statement comes as the U.S. has intensified its support of ongoing protests in Iran, signaling growing international scrutiny of Tehran's domestic situation.
And furthermore, in this development, we have to share with you what Iran has said. Tehran has warned U.S. allies in the Middle East it will strike U.S. bases on their soil if Washington attacks Iran, following President Donald Trump's threats to intervene in support of protesters. The Iranian official, speaking in the condition of anonymity, said Tehran has asked allies in the region to prevent Washington from attacking Iran. The official told International Newswire that Tehran has told regional countries that U.S. bases in those countries will be attacked if the U.S. targets Iran, asking these countries to prevent Washington from attacking Iran. And I mean, we are seeing how this development is unfolding in a very, very defensive way.
Exactly, and where you've spoken about bases and Iran threatening, for all of those U.S. bases operating in other countries. What they're saying, well, the U.S. has now announced the opening of a new center at Qatar's Al Udeid Air Base to coordinate air and missile defense in the region as U.S. President Donald Trump threatened intervention over protests in Iran. Well, here you go. According to a U.S. Central Command statement, 17 countries are active at the military facility in Qatar. CENTCOM added that the U.S. Air Force Central AFCENT staff will work with regional partners to plan multinational exercises, conduct drills, and respond to contingencies. Some personnel have been advised to leave the U.S. military's Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar by Wednesday evening, amid warnings from Washington that it could intervene to protect protesters in Iran. 3 diplomats told International Newswire that the U.S. Embassy in Doha had no immediate comment, and Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for confirmation or comment. Al Udeid is the Middle East's largest U.S. base, housing around 10,000 troops.
And with that, we have to share with you what Iran is doing diplomatically to strategically counter the situation. The senior Iranian officials have held talks with their foreign counterparts in the latest developments in the country, which have condemned foreign interference in the wake of the recent unrest. In separate phone calls with the Turkish Foreign Minister of the United Arab Emirates and the French Foreign Minister, Iranian Foreign Minister has elaborated on the recent unrest across the country and the consequent casualties, saying that Iranian people's peaceful protests were driven into violence by foreign-linked individuals. During the talks, he stressed that these terrorists were provoked by the United States and Israel was responsible for the violence during the protests. I mean, this does showcase a different viewpoint in what is happening.
Exactly, and with all of these protests, we do know that, how there's a media blackout or an internet blackout in Iran as of now. And yeah, you just cannot get hold of this gentleman whom we know as Elon Musk. So imagine Elon Musk, SpaceX, is now offering free Starlink satellite service in Iran amid deadly protests and a day-long internet blackout. According to Ahmad Ahmadian, Executive Director of the US group Holistic Resilience, which works with Iranians to secure internet access, SpaceX has waived the Starlink subscription fee in Iran, so people with receivers in the country can access service without paying. A person familiar with Starlink's operation confirmed the free service while asking not to be identified because the information isn't public.
Wow, and let's see if Elon Musk is willing to give other countries free internet access as well. I mean, we want to be on the list as well.
That was you being so typical Pakistani. We don't need free internet, okay? We don't need it.
Okay, fine, we do not need it. But you know what we do need? We do need to recognize the efforts of our Honorable President, who is on a 4-day visit to Bahrain. On this visit, what is actually happening is he's holding trade talks, economic talks, and people-to-people connections and ties. During the visit, President Zardari met King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and he also met the commander of Bahrain's National Guard. He actually held a meeting with Qatar's Economic Development Board as well. And we are seeing how he was given such an honorable and protocol-filled visit. We can see in the visuals how he is meeting all the official dignitaries, and he was followed by receiving a lot of applause and praise during this visit.
Exactly, well, that's wonderful. And the highest civil award has been awarded to the Honorable President of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. From here onwards, we're going to move on towards Bangladesh, once affiliated as Pakistan as well. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine that on February 12th, their elections will be taking place, but Bangladesh government, I think this time is really serious in making sure that for all of those overseas Bangladeshis are able to vote, which is why they're posting ballots to 148 different countries so that they could actually participate, sending postal ballots to voters and allowing expatriates to take part in national elections for the first time as the country prepares or gears for a February 12th general election under an interim administration.
And with that, in our last segment, we will be talking about something that really deeply connects with all Pakistanis, and that is the energy crisis.
No, that is the Bijli Ka Bill.
I mean, that is the Bijli Ka Bill, right? So we are at a crossroads of innovation and combating good electricity, energy conservation with the right innovation skills. We will be having 2 young Pakistani individuals who have successfully tackled this issue. What actually happened is that these young Pakistani innovators are building smart, homegrown solutions that don't just save money but change how institutions think. And yeah, we will be learning how we can save up to 55% in energy costs.
Exactly, but are you willing to do that, Isha? Because imagine that the last time that I visited your place, you had 3 German Shepherds, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
They were in an air-conditioned room.
No, they were not. They were outside playing with their toys, enjoying the
just
fun.
On a lighter note, yeah, well, we're heading out to a short break. Don't go anywhere. When you come back, we've got some amazing guests coming over here or making their way to World this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, and we will be right back because we are World this morning. Yes.
welcome back to all the lovely people who stay tuned for this insightful segment about Pakistan's development ties and diplomacy. What is actually happening is President Asif Zardari is on a 4-day official visit to Bahrain. To speak more about the developments that have occurred, we actually have an amazing guest in studios. Today, he happens to be former Ambassador IMRAN Ali, also happens to be a Fulbright scholar. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much for being here. And first things first, let's get started with the official visit of President Zardari to Bahrain. And he was welcomed by a full state protocol, including a guard of honor. Not just that, he received Bahrain's highest civilian award as well. What do you have to make of this regarding the credibility of Pakistan in the Gulf region and the globe?
It's the Pakistan's credibility and stature in the Gulf has been increasing manifold, especially in the past 1 year. But last year also, I think the Prime Minister visited Bahrain, the Interior Minister visited Bahrain, and a lot of developments took place. So this is the second high-level visit in the last 2 years, and it's going to be very important. You know, in your headlines, you mentioned Iran. Then the second phase of the Gaza plan is also underway. Bahrain is the president of the Gulf Cooperation Council. So it's very important for Pakistan to exchange notes with the leadership in Bahrain.
Exactly. And sir, when you've spoken about it, obviously we do know for a fact how important this visit is. And you know, when the Honorable President back in 2011 had the first visit to Bahrain as well. How do we make sure that we bring, you know, a practical momentum to all of these bilateral engagements which are taking place? You know, so we do see how Pakistan is at a diplomatic stand. We're witnessing how GF-17 is in great demand, how, you know, probably exports are going to cross 10 to 12 billion dollars and whatnot. But the practical momentum is something that we still really need to witness.
You've hit the nail on the head. You know, there is this disease, sometimes you suffer from it, which is called MOUitis. You sign 200 MOUs, and 10 years down the road, you still keep on signing MOUs.
Yeah.
So in Bahrain, we're in a slightly better position because you have 120,000 Pakistanis. And then in critical moments of Bahrain's history, and you mentioned the year 2011, we helped the government of Bahrain and the people of Bahrain attain peace and security. You'll be surprised, Shahzad, 10,000 of the law enforcement and army and air force in Bahrain are of Pakistani origin. Yes. So we have a deep-rooted security relationship. The trade is not bad. It's around 500 million to 1 billion, which is good given the size of Bahrain. But this visit, on the heels of what has been happening in the past year, is extremely important. And I think things that are making the headlines are important. Things that are being discussed internally between the two countries are also very important.
Definitely. And with that, we did see how President Zardari did address a reception at Bahrain's Economic Development Board as well, resulting in talks regarding IT, infrastructure, healthcare, and tourism. How realistically can these departments help align the goals and vision of Pakistan in the following years?
Isha, we, after making the intent clear, as Shahzad just pointed out, you need to have the professionals, the private professionals of the two countries meet and go to each other's countries. These things have to go beyond ministries, beyond departments. The real professionals in tourism, healthcare have to go. One thing which is we must remember is that a wonderful school of nursing and a medical college is being built by Bahrain in Islamabad.
All right.
And that was an initiative of King Hamad. So it's very important to have world-class nursing schools in Pakistan, and that was what Shahzad was also talking about, translating visits into benefits for the people of Pakistan.
Definitely.
Exactly. And while we are at these crossroads as well, and we do see that, and this is one thing that I think it's more of a mental barrier, you know, so even in our personal journeys in life when we are growing up, you know, we do come across these personal barriers where, you know, if somebody is paying you 100,000 rupees per month, you're like, okay, you know, that's enough for me. And then, you know, then there's a time when you seriously need to grow and then, you know, it's really hard for you to break those shackles because you're so used to of it. You know, so $500 million, $1 billion, that's it. I think, don't you think that, you know, now the professionals or the experts of the field really need to kind of jump in and make it look like $5 billion of trade, or probably $10 billion of trade? How do you think that we'll come out of this mental barrier of the very psychology of the government? Unfortunately, if it is like that, I'm not labeling that it is like that because it's a very risky subject.
It's not of the government alone. It's of, maybe, as you said, in our personal journeys, we encounter it. It's the people. It's the headline barriers. You are absolutely right. We need to break them, and I think one way to break them could be to increase textiles to Bahrain, and then enjoy Bahrain's status for those goods to go elsewhere.
True.
So you need to be innovative. Similarly in Oman has a free trade agreement with the US. So when you send your textiles or goods to Oman, you should think about the US instead of taking them from Karachi alone. So you need to innovate, but again, Shahzad, the private sector has to talk to each other. The government must push them to talk to each other, and then miracles can be done. Talking of mental barriers, I can't resist saying this, that, you know, before May, we had this mental barrier that we are accosted with a country 10 times defense budget, 5 times the size and all, but we broke that mental barrier.
True.
And imagine, after breaking that mental barrier, how much has Pakistan diplomacy grown?
True.
So mental barriers need to be broken.
Exactly, and I think that, you know, that the real-time example was given by our armed forces as well, and the Chief of Defence Forces, you know, the Field Marshal, the Chief of Army Staff, Mr. Asif, who actually, you know, stood strong in his resolve, and I think that's the kind of resolve that everybody needs to have over here. But thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here, like always, and you always make absolute sense with your very well articulated job.
And you always make me wake up and see the morning.
Oh, wow.
You
The
still
lovely
remember
morning.
that?
No, not waking up, the morning, the beauty, the light.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes,
So thank you so
very
much for joining us, and for people who are out there, now imagine where, you know, the former ambassador has spoken himself that, you know, how well Pakistan is doing it. It is because of the stance that we have taken in May 2025 after Banyan al-Marsus or the Markai-Haq. Now there are a couple of other developments. Imagine, so we have had people from higher education to speak about the Technological Development Fund, and, you know, how the products are getting patented and how we are exporting technology. In addition to this, I have another great news, and we would want to kind of do a segment on that. Just yesterday, the Honorable Federal Minister for the Information Technology, IT and Telecommunication actually unveiled the Indus AI Week 2026, which will be taking place. But very quickly, I would want to kind of come back to JF-17s because the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, has announced that Pakistan is holding talks with several countries for the sale of its JF-17 fighter jets, following a surge in international demand after the country's success against India in the May 2025 armed conflict. Addressing the Federal Cabinet, the Prime Minister emphasized that the Markai-Haq success has played a key role in increasing trust in the JF-17 jets, noting the growing global recognition of Pakistan's defense capabilities. Mr. Shahbaz Sharif congratulated the Pakistan Armed Forces on their recent tests of Taimur and LY-80 missiles. He said that discussions are underway with multiple countries regarding fighter jet exports and highlighted that a rising number of defense orders will help boost the national economy. Mr. Shahbaz Sharif said that the armed forces' accomplishments not only strengthen national security, but also create significant economic opportunities through defense exports.
And I mean, this does signify how Pakistan is in the realm of sunshine and rainbows right now, with economic prosperity, with the military prosperity. Now everyone wanting to get in the mix of the JF-17 Thunders that Pakistan has been enjoying and using very skillfully. And you know, but unfortunately, our neighbors in Bangladesh are facing a turmoil, a lot of distress caused by India interfering in their politics. We do have an update regarding that. Is that we will
Exactly.
have a segment about that as well.
We'll come back to that, Isha. It's okay. We'll come back to that. There's something really interesting that I would want to share with my audiences, and that's exactly what I was speaking about. That imagine that the United Nations Security Council is slated to meet today for a briefing on the situation in Iran, number one. And then, according to a spokesperson for the Somali presidency, the briefing was requested by the United States. Earlier in a letter, Iran has formally appealed to the United Nations Security Council and the UN Security General to take a clear stance by condemning indictment to violence and threats of military actions by United States. Iran accused the United States of inciting violence, interfering in Iran's internal affairs, and threatening military action.
And we do hope that justice does prevail. With that, we will be heading out towards a short break. Stay tuned for some interesting segments coming up ahead. We will be right back on World This Morning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. There's this marvelous report that we would want to share with people who are outside, people of Pakistan, and people who are in love with Pakistan. So first things first, what I'm going to do is play that video. Go ahead, take a look, and then when you come back, we will be speaking about Bangladesh's electoral reforms taking place, and the elections will be taking place on the February 12th, 2026. Let's go.
Member of the UN Security Council has played a proactive and a principled role in promoting international peace and security for the period of January 2025 to December 2026. Following in the footsteps of the father of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Pakistan has actively supported peaceful resolutions to the conflicts around the world by emphasizing upon dialogue and diplomacy over confrontation as the primary means for resolving the disputes. Also, Pakistan has highlighted the need for the reforms in the United Nations, including making the Security Council more representative and effective. Furthermore, Pakistani diplomatic leadership consistently advocated for the protection of the civilians in conflict zones, supporting initiatives for humanitarian aid, refugee protection, and human rights. Pakistan stressed that all countries should adhere to the international law and UN resolutions by focusing on promoting peace and stability in South Asian region and beyond, encouraging regional cooperation and conflict resolution as essential for global security. Pakistan's contributions reflected a more balanced and principled approach, emphasizing upon peace, dialogue, and reform. Our work in the Security Council is a clear manifestation and the continuation of the Jinnah's core values and principles, aiming for a world that is just, safe, and inclusive for all.
Certainly, Pakistan aiming for a world which is just and inclusive for the rest of the globe, and it's certainly a great news for all of those Pakistanis who are out there, how UNSC's member is now Pakistan as well. From Pakistan, I'm going to move on to Bangladesh, and when we speak of Bangladesh, I've spoken about how we will be talking about the elections, because the leading political party in Bangladesh, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, has increased its presence on ground and through social media to reach out to voters as country gears up for parliamentary polls. BNP has devised a campaign in a way to reach grassroots levels using all means available to it. And to speak further more about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined by all the way from Bangladesh. He happens to be the Strategic Coordinator, Communication and Research Foundation, Dhaka, Bangladesh. He is Mr. Mohammad Zakaria. Hello, Mohammad. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Hello, walaikum assalam. Yeah, I'm fine, and thank you for inviting me here in this channel. Yeah, it's a great pleasure to discuss things related to Bangladesh to the audience across the globe. So thank you.
Mohammad, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for participating. And obviously, it's the talk of the world as of now since the ousting of Sheikh Hasina in 2024. Finally, Bangladesh is coming back on track, and we do know for a fact, how 56 political parties are actually participating. And if we are to kind of go in depth or in detail, you know, which political party on ground looks like is more popular and might probably be, you know, getting into the government or in power?
Okay, that's a very great and nice question. If you think of the potential political parties who are taking part into the election, there are, as you already mentioned, there are 56 political parties, but there are groups of parties. I mean, parties are making groups, so there are polarization apparent. An interesting fact is, I think there are several surveys came out, and those surveys are showing very competitive, showing hint of very competitive election in Bangladesh in the coming in the next month, 12th February of this year. So it is knocking at the door. So there are parties that already you have mentioned, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP), who these party have been in power quite 3 times before in Bangladesh, led by late Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. And then now currently it is led by Tariq Rahman and the son of Khaleda Zia and Ziaur Rahman. So this is a very big political party who have already previous experience of leading the country. And also we see from the recent surveys that parties like Jamaat Islami, parties like the newly formed party led by the students who led the July uprising in 2024. They have also come up and they are participating in the election. So these parties are also getting support from the young people. Several surveys are showing that young people are turning into the kingmakers in the coming election. So the young people's opinion will also create a big impact in the election. So and there are other parties. There are many other Islamic parties like Islami Andolan Bangladesh. There are other Islamic Khilafat Andolan Bangladesh. There are other some of the secular parties. So those parties are also taking part in the election. They are focusing on the reforms. So an interesting another part of this entire election episode is there will be 2 elections. I mean, on the same day, each voter will vote in 2 ballots. One is to select their next leadership or to select the members of parliament and form the parliament to rule the country, to govern the country. And another is to people will give consent of the proposed reformation of the country.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed, for giving us a detailed overview about what is actually happening inside of Bangladesh right now. And with that, it is important to note that around 773,000 overseas Bangladeshis have registered to vote for this election, and this number is going to increase by February 12th as well. How much of a game changer is this overseas contribution in the voting going to be?
Yes, that is a very interesting and very new, unique improvement in Bangladeshi voting culture. Ever since in last 54 years, the people living abroad had no chance to give their vote and no chance to exercise their right to vote. But this time the government has initiated, political parties has appreciated, and they were demanding also for this. So the overseas Bangladeshis are going to vote for their to execute their voting rights. And the number of voters, 7 lakhs and something, which is not so big in terms of changing the entire results of election, but it is a very big shift of the democratic culture and inclusive. Moving the country is moving towards an inclusive democracy, that no one will be left to exercise their voting rights. That is a great change in terms of the voting and election mechanism in Bangladesh.
Exactly. And Mohammed, in addition to this, obviously we do know for a fact how the postal ballots have been sent to 148 different countries. And you've very well, explained, how the condition is and how much impact the overseas Bangladeshi voters are going to make. I think there are a couple of other objectives that, that the now new government, whichever government or party will come into power, because imagine that, that the India and Bangladesh relationships will probably bring Bangladesh onto a newer front, because imagine since the ousting of Sheikh Hasina, we have seen how the relationship has not been really amazing. And with their party, BNP, with the ousted political party, which is certainly not participating in these elections, have always been a strong ally of India. How do you think that, the India and Bangladesh nexus is going to roll out in these elections?
I think considering the geographic proximity, India cannot shy away from the reality that is happening in Bangladesh. So, though the ousted political party was their long-standing ally, they should have, and I think they are turning into a new realization, and they are reshaping their political views and diplomatic views also, that they have to work with the people of Bangladesh, and they have to abide by, and they have to respect they respect the opinion that people makes. They have to deal with the government. They had to and they had to cooperate with that government who will be elected by the people. So this is a very obvious situation that India and also the other development partners and also other neighboring countries should think of and should also focus on. So definitely whatever they are.
And Mohammed, so what I'm going to do is just for our viewers who are out there who might not know, since the ousting and the uprising, we do know that the relationship has been really frail. And in addition to this, what the Indian Premier League has done with Mustafiz, and then how the IPL transmission has been banned. And certainly I think, and now Bangladesh is actually asking for ICC, or asking ICC rather, to kind of play their ICC T20 International World Cup in Sri Lanka alongside Pakistan. So we do know how the relationship has been, and it certainly looks like as if Bangladesh is drifting or changing its path from being an ally of India, and rather is going to stand on its own feet, and it's a great news for all of us. But let's speak about what the establishment of the country actually wants for the future of Bangladesh, and how do you think that the people resonate with the values which are emerging now? Because quite a lot of mindset or the very narrative has actually now changed after the uprising and the ousting of Sheikh Hasina Wajid and their political party being banned not to kind of participate. So people might be coming up with, or the political parties might be coming up with newer ideas or agendas or narratives to make sure that they come into power. How does it all look like?
Yes, of course, there is a big shift of public opinion, because people have been experiencing, in the name of democracy, people have been experiencing a great level of authoritarian regime with the strategic support from the neighboring country. So that actually has created a great sense in the people's mind that everything what our neighbors are thinking is not respecting the public view in Bangladesh. So in that context, after the post July 2024, people have started thinking to restructure the governance system. Also, there has been several reform commissions. Those commissions have submitted reports and policies. Based on that, all parties, almost 30 and more than 30 parties have discussed, political parties have discussed together. They have come up with a July charter, and also that charter has brought in certain recommendations of change in the constitution itself, and also in many other legal frameworks. So those changes will definitely lead the country towards a democratic transition, and also the peaceful transition of power, the restoration of the interim government system, which was, the caretaker government system, which was previously in place, that was eroded by and abolished by the Awami League in previous time. So again, that will come back, and that will also restore the trust among the political parties. That will also restore the democratic culture in future. So these are the hopes, and these are the future prospects that we are seeing in the country.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for being with us, and we would certainly want to kind of establish a little more on this in days to come. We will certainly be making sure that we give away a lot of information regarding the Bangladesh election, which is going to or set to take place on the 12th of February 2026. And as Mohammed did speak about, how the sentiment is changing, how people now realize that what is good for Bangladesh, and we hope and pray that that for all of our Bangladeshi brethren to kind of make the right decision in these electoral reforms which are taking place, the constitutional amendments and the referendum which will take place on the February 2026.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, we do know how the future is in the hands of the youth, which are going to strategically invest in their future. With that, we will be heading out towards a short break. Make sure to stay tuned for an insightful segment coming up ahead.
Because we will be saving your electricity bills.
Up to 55%. We will be right back on World This Morning.
Let's do it. Good morning.
All right, welcome back to all the lovely people who stayed tuned for this interesting and insightful segment. We are going to be talking about how Pakistan is at the crossroads of energy conservation as well as innovation, which is going to bring about a lot of prosperity for Pakistanis. With that, we do have some interesting individuals in our studios today who have brought this innovation to the commercial industries of Pakistan. We will be introducing them. Let's start off with Dr. FARRUKH Bhatti, who is the CEO and co-founder of Newvative as well. And with that, he is here. Let's see him on our screens. And with that, we do have KAMRAN TAUFIQ, who is the program manager of NIC Islamabad. These two bright individuals have come together and brought about this prosperity for Pakistan. We will be talking about their endeavors. And first things first, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, sir. How are you? Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we are so excited. What you have done is you have created a bridge between the economic perspective, the climate perspective, and brought together this innovative device, which happens to be the REMAC, which controls the energy perceptions. Please let us know what exactly it is, how is it installed, and what kind of innovation is it bringing.
Right, so thank you for having us. So we all understand that in our homes, a major contributor to our electricity bill are the air conditioners. So we use them carefully. But the problem is in the businesses, where the number of AC units could be in hundreds. And sadly, the one who has to pay the bills, they mostly do not use all the ACs. So it's the staff and other team members or the clients who are using those. So there's no auditing, monitoring, or control mechanism. And that's why there's a lot of wastage that happens. We tend to overcool or overheat these units. These units keep running even in the unoccupied areas. So what we've done is that we've developed an intelligent platform that monitors and controls all these AC units across multiple locations through an intelligent platform. And with the help of this system called REMAC, Newvative has helped businesses cut down their air conditioning related energy costs by up to 30 to 50%, which is a major savings that we've done. And as you were talking about the climate aspect, right now in the world there are around 1.5 billion AC units, and these numbers are growing up till around 5 billion by 2050. Now air conditioning is contributing up till 3% in global carbon emissions. So once we overcool our indoors, we're actually overheating the outdoors. So that's creating a big climate impact. And so with the help of these kind of systems, we can actually manage that.
And we will come back to that, because that's where, I would want to kind of highlight NIC's role as well in your journey, and how, for Newvative, NIC was there. So moving on to that, Mr. Kamran, how do you think that, that NIC was able to pick up on this and then make sure that they kind of utilize it for themselves as well?
So it was interesting, journey of Newvative with NIC Islamabad. So they were incubated in our very first cohort back in 2024, May 2024. That's when they came up with a different idea. It was cold chain monitoring system. That's what they were doing. But during the program, it was realized that they had to pivot from their original idea. And what made sense at the time was that, because what we always tell our startups is, in the end, you have to give what market demands. So if the market is saying something else, you have to pivot accordingly. And that's during the customer discovery, while talking to its existing customers of cold chain, it was identified that energy is something, especially in the commercial buildings, that is a big problem. And there are a lot of businesses that is losing a lot of money, because once you are again, as he already mentioned, that if it is your own home AC, you would be very much careful. Obviously, you have to pay. But if
even
it is
when the kids leave the room, I would go in and check.
You will check it, right? But commercially, once you are at your workplace, you don't care about, because you are not paying the bill. So that is the problem that was identified, and that's when they pivoted to the from their existing model, and then the results was there.
Exactly, and thank you so much for mentioning that, because I am not sure whether Dr. FARRUKH Bhatti over here actually remembers, because the last time when he was on my morning show, it was about the cold chain.
Wow.
And that's exactly what I was wondering, that that all of a sudden the project has gone from one end to another. And then how do you think that, was it because of NIC's research that you were able to pivot? Or because, originally when you have an idea and you're working on it, you've invested on it, I've seen a lot of people are very stagnant onto that one idea that they think will work out for them. So was it challenging, and do you think NIC helped you with that? Some market research? Yeah,
absolutely. So NIC's program has been very instrumental in our journey. They actually make us follow the Founder Institute curriculum. So one of the key things is that you have to identify a big customer need, and if need be, you have to pivot. So this is what we did. So we, being an R&D company, we develop IoT and AI technologies. So in cold chain, we still have that product, which is an IoT-based cold chain monitoring, but then we pivoted it towards the energy side. So, which is a very, very big market, and not only in Pakistan but also in the
definitely, as an environmental enthusiast, it makes me really happy that when you install the REMAC device, it only takes 10 minutes and it reduces up to 60% of metric tons of carbon emission per client. So that is a massive amount, right? It saves energy, it reduces carbon emissions. So how important is it to actually make it a necessity to integrate into different businesses within Pakistan and maybe globally as well?
Yeah, so in Pakistan also, Ministry of Energy is working on this, National Energy Efficiency Conservation Authority. So now the buildings have to comply to certain codes so that their climate impact could be reduced. And one of the things that they can do is to use these kind of monitoring and control technologies to help eliminate waste in this segment, which is really very critical at this time.
I do believe that it needs to be a must as well in days to come. Just like how for cars we have these Euro 5 and Euro 6 standards probably in days to come. Your company is going to pick up. Are you selling shares? I will come to that bit. But because we're very short of time, I'm going to come back to you as well over here. When is the next cohort? And what sort of people are you looking for? How can people reach out to you?
All right. So we have already our applications for cohort 5 are now live. So we are looking for innovators. Those who are already building something. We're looking for serious founders who mean it, and those who are looking to build multi-million-dollar companies while staying in Pakistan. It's very much doable, and we have a lot of success stories in the last 4 cohorts. Because in the last 4 cohorts we have inducted up to 122 plus startups, and although we are sector agnostic, but our focus is on health tech and deep tech. But we welcome startups from all across Pakistan to apply. Our applications are live, and for those who want to apply, can go to NICIslamabad.com and apply over there.
And that's wonderful. And since you've spoken about it, I'm not sure whether a lot of people know about it, but the Technology Development Fund Test 2025 took place. A lot of products have rolled out. They have been patented, available globally. I think that this needs to be a partnership. And then the Indus AI Week 2026 is taking place from February 9th till the February 15th. 100,000 people will be participating from all over the globe, coming down to Islamabad. So I think that's where NIC needs to be themselves. Wonderful. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us. Lovely to have you over here.
Thank you.
And with that, we will be wrapping up World This Morning today. Make sure to tune in live at 10 a.m. tomorrow. This is us signing out, and make sure to get those energy-saving devices for your businesses. This is us signing out.
Remember the name, Dr. FARRUKH Bhatti from Newvative. Thank you so much. Good.